Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to play a game on Lichess this afternoon, and I have put out a seek for a game at 5 minutes and 5 second increment, and I will wait on somebody to respond, or I will watch for a similar game that I can jump into. There are currently about 2,000 players on Lichess, so it shouldn't be too hard to get a game. But sometimes I do find a little bit of resistance to getting one quickly. We'll see how it goes here. Hopefully it won't be too long. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm going to play white. And I put no rating restrictions on my seek, and I wound up getting a 1400 rated player, so hopefully I can win. Looks like maybe, hopefully the top's not cut off there. I want to be careful. I'd rather cut off the bottom than the top. Trying to use the same size window as I use on the other sites, just to keep from having to readjust things every time. I do not... It's been a while since I played this line, but I think I know what to do. I think here... no, that's different. Okay, so normally I see knight c6 here, and I play bishop c4 followed by bishop b5. I think, or maybe there's some d6 thrown in there. It's been too long. So I need here to play, I think, bishop d2. I don't think there's any purpose behind... I mean, knight c3 just looks bad, obviously. Knight fd2 could be something, but I think bishop d2 looks most normal here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm parting with my dark square bishop, which wouldn't be a bad thing to get rid of, and it's parting with his, potentially parting with his dark square bishop, which would also be a his good bishop. I can't really see that there's much benefit to this move. I'm not going to play a3. That would be a waste of a move because my pawn is pinned to my rook anyway. So I'm considering maybe something like bishop d3 and then castle. I don't want to take because that's going to improve at least one of his pieces. Queen taking there would be fairly uncomfortable because of the b3, b2 square. I could play b3, but you know, things are just getting a little weird. I'm going to go ahead and play... You know, bishop d3 seems okay, but what about bishop c4? I'm not sure which is better. I'm going to play bishop d3 just because I like the way it aims at the king side. We'll see what he does. My d2 square is overly protected by like 4 pieces, so his 2 attackers don't really concern me. His knight's got a good little square there. I think I should develop with knight bd2. Queen d2 doesn't seem like anything I should really be looking for, so let's do this. Then we'll castle and maybe play knight b3. Queen c2 could also happen. Okay, this move doesn't... I'm not sure what that does, actually. I can't castle now because the bishop is hanging. Do I have to play bishop f1 here? I guess I do. Not a big fan of undeveloping here, but maybe I'll play bishop f1 followed by g3 and bishop g2. Seems at least somewhat reasonable. Okay, that just hangs the piece. It's weird that he could play some sort of aggressive looking moves like that and then freak out. Just suddenly freak out and hang a knight. To me, that's a really weird thing. It's just odd. For lack of a better term, it's odd. So I've got a really nice hole on d6 for my knight that I'm probably going to shoot for. I'm wondering if there isn't a way to swap off that knight first for me, and then my knight would be pretty unassailable. But I'm not going to rush that. I might play bishop e4 here in just a second to try to trade off that knight. If I can play bishop e4 takes c6, I think my game is pretty... Okay, now bishop e4 is even more attractive. I think my game is even more... is pretty strategically won at this point. He's going to have real problems along the c file and along this diagonal, and then my knight coming into d6, plus I'm up a piece. My clock isn't the greatest, but it's fine. You know, I just realized I'm distracted by all this stuff over here, and I may have bishop takes h7 again. So in this next move, let's say something like bishop b7. Can I play bishop takes h7, king takes h7, knight g5, and just Greek gift sacrifice him again, just like I did last move, or last game. I was distracted by this d6 square. So, ideally, bishop takes h7 on the next move should win the game. I'm a little disappointed in myself for not seeing it earlier. I wonder how long it's been there. Yeah, I'm just going to play it. So, real quick, actually, verification. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, knight g5. There's no queen supporting it. There's no dark square bishop. Does this matter? Is that super important? Back here, queen h5. If he comes to g6, I think h4 is what I found out was the correct move there. So I might play h4 if he comes out to g6 this time. So this is the same pattern we saw in the last game. Oh, he does come out. Nice. So let's see h4. I didn't expect him to, honestly. I expected him to come back. Oh, you know what? This might be a little bit different because there isn't a dark square bishop there to support the knight. So I am going to do this again. So it's like the same exact game. Knight takes e6, obviously still wins the queen. This time, yeah, it still does. So I'm just going to go ahead and win the queen. There's not some mate. Is there a mate? I don't know. This is just easiest. Starting to get a little low on time, so... Even queen takes g5, knight takes g5. Or queen takes g5, actually. Either one would be fine. I still have the d6 square, if that becomes something that I can do a little bit later. It's interesting that h4 looked less appealing to me after I noticed that the knight was not supported by a dark square bishop like it was in the previous game and in typical examples of that pattern, because the idea of h4 is being able to play h5 check the next move, and with the queen on d1 and no light square bishop on c1, then the knight is then unsupported, so h5, king takes g5. Now that might be suicidal, but it at least will hang that dark square bishop. So he may be just timing out here, which, you know, that doesn't really bother me. So it's a little bit annoying probably as a viewer. I want to go back and see how long. See, when he castled, it probably right here. Yeah, I mean, it's available right here. Bishop takes h7, knight g5, and queen h5. I just got distracted by that pretty square on d6. Look at that pretty square on d6. Now seriously, how can you not be distracted by that? I started thinking about giving up my light square bishop for this knight, and then there is not a single piece on the board, other than the rooks, which are more valuable, that could trade itself for that knight on d6, and it would just be a party. So yeah, he's going to just time out, I'm sure. So go back and look at maybe here, playing h4. Doesn't really threaten anything, since the knight is not supported. So queen g4, I think, has to be the correct move here. I'm kind of glad that I went down that road yesterday. I guess it was the day before yesterday. I didn't get to play a game yesterday because of some Valentine's Day things that I was doing with my wife. We do it on a different day so that we don't have to deal with crowds and prices and things. So the day before yesterday, I had a game in which had the same sort of Greek gift sacrifice on h7, and I played queen g4, but the correct move was h4. Okay, 15 seconds from whatever happens on Lichess when your opponent abandons the game, which I assume is probably a pretty quick win after the time is gone. We'll see. I don't know that I've had this happen to me before on this site. Yep, that's it. I also don't know if there's some way to report that kind of behavior, because I don't like that kind of behavior. It doesn't get on my nerves or anything. Personally, I just wish that that kind of behavior would be punished. But I'm not going to make a big deal about it unless there's some like obvious button or something. Maybe somebody could tell me in comments if there's some way to deal with this on Lichess. Either way, whatever. This is pretty clear. We can look at the analysis of this and see. On Lichess, it's actually really easy to do this, which I like. We can go to the spot here. I'm going to turn on the computer analysis thing, but we can go to this thing here, and now we can we move around? Can I play h4? Yeah, we get a little variation here. But the point I was making is I can't play h5 without hanging the knight here. Alright, cool. And this says that queen g4 was in fact the correct move. So, good. Looking quickly through this, there's a lot of blunders. For me, 3 blunders on my part, and he had 5 blunders. I wonder what the blunders were on my part. I know I didn't play perfectly, but did I play that poorly? Let's see. White blunders. Here's one. Knight c4. Yeah, we knew about that one because the best move was bishop takes h7. Rook c1. Again, missing the sack. And bishop e4, the third one. So I missed bishop takes h7 3 different times in this game. And those were my 3 blunders. If I would have gotten it right off the bat, I would have had another perfect game. Okay, that's it for this time, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.